guys, and welcome back to another reading with the Fairy Tale blog of a classic. This is the ancient tome of the Russell household. I tell you, this has been on the shelves longer than I can remember, probably longer than I've been alive. It's very old. It's full of wonderful stories called Pride and Prejudice, Northanger Abbey, Persuasion, and Emma. Weirdly, it does not have Sense and Sensibility. Don't know who made that call. But it's Treasury of Old World Masterpieces. I don't even know who published this. I'm curious. I guess we'll find out together because I really want to know. Oh my gosh, my name is written in the inside, probably because I took it to college. It's really not mine. It's my mom's, but I kind of stole it. Octopus Books Limited. Who has heard of them? Not me. So I'm going to read you a chapter from Pride and Prejudice because it's like the best book ever written, pretty much. So there's a part after Darcy proposes, after they're like really happy together, that pretty much never gets put into movies or any sort of rendition. So I thought I'd read it here because it's just wonderful and it deserves to be read. Chapter 60. Elizabeth's spirits soon rising to playfulness again, she wanted Mr. Darcy to account for his having ever fallen in love with her. "How could you begin?" said she. I can comprehend your going on charmingly, when you had once made a beginning, but what could set you off in the first place? I cannot fix on the hour, or the spot, or the look, or the words which laid the foundation. It is too long ago. I was in the middle before I knew that I had begun. My beauty you had early withstood, and as for my manners, my behavior to you was at least always bordering on the uncivil, and I never spoke to you without rather wishing to give you pain than not. Now be sincere. Did you admire me for my impertinence? For the liveliness of your mind, I did. You may as well call it impertinence at once. It was very little less. The fact is that you were sick of civility, of deference, of officious attention. You were disgusted with the women who were always speaking and looking, and thinking for your approbation alone. I roused and interested you because I was so unlike them. Had you not been really amiable, you would have hated me for it. But in spite of the pains you took to disguise yourself, your feelings were always noble and just. And in your heart you thoroughly despised the persons who so assiduously courted you. There, I have saved you the trouble of accounting for it, and really, all things considered, I begin to think that it's perfectly reasonable. To be sure, you knew no actual good of me, but nobody thinks of that when they fall in love. Was there no good in your affectionate behavior to Jane while she was ill at Netherfield? Oh, dearest Jane, who could have done less for her? But make a virtue of it by all means. My good qualities are under your protection, and you are to exaggerate them as much as possible, and in return it belongs to me to find occasions for teasing and quarreling with you as often as may be. And I shall begin directly, by asking you what made you so unwilling to come to the point at last? What made you so shy of me when you first called, and afterwards dined here? Why, especially when you called, did you look as if you did not care about me? Because you were grave and silent and gave me no encouragement. But I was embarrassed, and so was I. You might have talked to me more when you came to dinner. A man who had felt less might. How unlucky that you should have a reasonable answer to give, and that I should be so reasonable as to admit it. But I wonder how long you would have gone on, if you had been left to yourself. I wonder when you would have spoken if I had not asked you. My resolution of thanking you for your kindness to Lydia had certainly great effect. Too much, I am afraid, for what comes of the moral, if your comfort springs from a breach of promise, for I ought not to have mentioned the subject. This will never do. You need not distress yourself. She's saying that because she had promised Lydia that she wouldn't say anything, and then she said something to Darcy, and so now they're only together and happy because she broke her word, and now she's all upset, or pretending to be. You need not distress yourself. The moral will be perfectly fair. Lady Catherine's unjustifiable endeavours to separate us were the means of removing all my doubts. I am not indebted for your present happiness to your eager desire to express your gratitude. I was not in humour to wait for any opening of yours. My aunt's intelligence had given me hope, and I was determined at once to know everything. Lady Catherine has been of infinite use, which ought to make her happy, for she loves to be of use. But tell me, what did you come down to Netherfield for? Was it merely to ride to Longbourn and be embarrassed, or had you intended any more serious consequence? My real purpose was to see you, and to judge, if I could, whether I might ever hope to make you happy. I totally messed that line up. I don't know why I said happy. Whether I might ever hope to make you love me, my avowed one, or what I avowed to myself, was to see whether your sister were still partial to Bingley, and if she were, to make the confession to him, which I have since made. Shall you ever have courage to announce to Lady Catherine what is to befall her? And then they go to write letters to their aunts because he has to tell his aunt that he's engaged to Elizabeth Bennet, which he knows is going to make her miserable. And she has to write a letter to Mrs. Gardiner to tell her that she is engaged to Darcy, which she knows will make her very happy. So they have very different letters to write to two very different aunts. So we'll leave them to that. And yeah, join us next time. I don't know when it'll be. I'll get regular about this eventually. Please follow me at Liz of the Shire on Instagram, or check out the Fairy Tale blog at thefairytaleblog.com for lots of articles and stuff on the classics. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.